When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by Tidy Cats, here to level up your litter game with their new Performance Plus lineup. Your home is your happy place, your cats, VIPs. So when it comes to the litter box, excellence isn't optional. Choose from products that specialize in max power clumping, low tracking, or odor fighting so advanced, stink won't see it coming. Tidy Cats Performance Plus. Mission mighty, keep it tidy. Shop now at tidycats.com.
Welcome to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, where we take a deep dive into the Star Wars universe, such as characters, creatures, stories, and so much more. Hosted by Ben of Temeria and Kodojo.
Welcome back, Acolytes, Adepts, to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my good friend, Kodojo.
Hello there.
And we are here to bring you canon content for once, since we've been doing a lot of legend stuff. So we're diving into the High Republic era as a whole. So this is part 1, part 2, and then we'll kind of like dive deeper into the High Republic as a whole. But just kind of like we're going over like the general summary of what the High Republic was, what like some of the major conflicts that happen, what like all it entails with the High Republic. Yeah. It's still fairly new. It ended last year. Actually, technically this year, because there were some books that came out this year.
Okay, I gotta look this up. Go ahead and start.
There was a new Acolyte book that was like a prequel to the Acolyte show. So
does that count as High Republic?
Yes. Yes, it does. It's High Republic. It's already been confirmed. It's straight up High Republic. Vanestra Rose in it.
So is Yoda. That doesn't make it a sequel. I mean, prequel.
Yeah, but Yoda's 900 years old. He's in a lot of things that we don't see. So, the High Republic was the age of exploration. They were exploring the galaxy left and right in the High Republic. So, the High Republic era, or the Age of the High Republic, was a period of time long after the fall of the Old Republic, which we still don't know too much about, during the zenith of the Republic era that began around 500 BBY, ended in 100 BBY. Is considered a time of expansion and exploration for the Galactic Republic, but most significantly was considered a time of peace. Quote unquote.
Okay, so fall of the Old Republic. Stop that. It's also called the Dark Age. Wow.
Well, I mean,
slowly decline in its power. Okay, and then the defeat of the Sith. So
yeah, it's very vague. It's essentially was the downside of Darth Bane.
Yeah, if you don't know, there was a trilogy of Darth Bane novels where the Sith were
our legend.
Yeah, where the Sith came back once more as like the Brotherhood of Cain or something like
something
that.
Like that. It was a Brotherhood of something.
And they got defeated, and essentially the Sith were defeated for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been a few, cults out there, but Bane was the last one, and he decided, you know what? We're going to go underground. We're going to hide.
Which, that part was true. Bane was the creator of Rule 2. That is canonical and Legends, and he existed in both both Legends and canon, because we see the ghost of Bane in the Yoda Chronicles in Season 6 of Clone Wars. So there's that. We know he existed and he created the Rule 2, but in canon, that's all that we know. We don't know too much on Bane in canon. So So the Galactic Republic was seen as was a successful beacon of hope and prosperity for this time. While the galaxies faced conflicts and troubles during the era, including events that would be remembered as some of the darkest in the galactic history, is remembered overall as the most prosperous time in the galactic history. As of 35 ABY, love and light managed to persist throughout the era no matter what conflicts arose during this time frame. So,
Yeah, I
by
mean,
35 ABY, which is a sequel trilogy, um, you know, love and
yeah,
light managed to still persist
yeah. That
across
which
from this time.
l-
So, which is
Love and
good.
Light, yeah, Love and Light was a major theme for the High Republic.
Yes, very much so.
So
So around 500 BBY, the Republic sent out the to expand the sheltered influence on only the core worlds and the colony region to the greater Outer Rim territories, help beginning to what was known as the Age of Exploration. This unreached area of the Outer Rim was called the Galactic Frontier and was filled with hardship and uh, scaredness,
yeah,
scarceness,
scaredness.
scaredness. Without the influence of the Republic. The Republic established the Office of the Frontier, where people and worlds from the frontier could apply for the aid of the Republic or the Jedi.
Now, for space-wise, I'd like to think that Outer Rim almost doubles the core worlds and colonies as far as space goes.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah. Outer Rim is
because
massive.
yeah, it's massive. And the core worlds and colonies finally got their act together. They're stabilized, but people still continue to go out into the outer rim, and it is the wild, wild west out there. You've got pirates, you've got gangs, you got slavers, you got the Huts, you
Uh
got
huh.
the unknown out there
Yep.
trying to kill you more than likely.
And we'll get there. So the era, by the era's start, the Sith Order had been destroyed in a battle fought over 500 years prior. While the Sith was in fact to survive through the Sith Lord Darth Bane, who reformed the Sith under the Rule 2 that decreed only a Sith Master and Sith Apprentice could exist at the same time. The Jedi learned of Bane's existence and would come to believe Bane's rule was destroyed at their hands, helping to usher the Golden Age without the Sith. In reality, the Sith Order survived in secret via the Rule of Two, which obviously is the case because
Yeah,
Plagueis and then Palpatine. So
yeah.
clearly they
And
survived.
and back to Darth Bane trilogy. Sorry for bringing this up again. There was a confrontation between Bane and his apprentice versus a group of Jedi. And when another group of Jedi came by, they're like, "Oh, I guess they just destroyed each other. We don't have to worry about this anymore."
Correct. Right. So now getting into pathfinding. So this is really cool. I do like pathfinding. I do like the idea behind pathfinding. I kind of wish
Yeah.
it existed in the modern day Jedi that we get in like the prequel trilogy, which would be cool, but it doesn't
Well,
exist really then.
yeah,
It does and it doesn't.
the-
It's weird.
for a second there, I kind of had to remember what pathfinding for a Jedi was. The Jedi have become a bit more dogma
Yeah.
and less free-willed.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Qui-Gon was closest to pathfinding, I would say.
yeah, I would agree with that. So by around 392 BBY, Kyong Greylark and Orlin Mollo were co-counselors of the Galactic Republic. Greylark was the more politically active of the two, largely staying on Coruscant and dealing with the everyday operations and politics of the government, while Mollo traveled to the outer reaches of the Republic to oversee its affairs. Around
Now
that year...
this,
sorry.
sorry, this is roughly, I want to say, phase 2 of the High Republic.
Yes, this is phase 2. Yeah, Greylark was in
Yeah,
phase 2
yeah,
because it was her son that had the craziness with the path and all that.
yeah.
So around that year, in an effort to reunite the galaxy, the two, working alongside the Jedi Order, discharged Republic Outer Rim exploration teams to the far reaches of the Outer Rim. Their missions were to find new hyperspace routes, make contact with isolated planets, and establish a communications network, throughout the Outer Rim. These teams usually consist of a pilot, a Jedi Master, a Jedi Padawan, a medic, an EX droid, and a GT droid. EX comms droids assisted with discoveries, with the EX droids sending back messages to the communication teams who assisted Pathfinders, often flying through space to deliver the messages.
Now, I love this.
Which
This is
they're,
essentially setting up the Morse code relay like
yeah,
they did in the Wild Wild West,
yep.
essentially. They're setting up outposts
And
to
it's,
relay these messages.
and like, if you look up an EX droid, it's literally just a probe droid.
Yeah, it's a very
Um,
early version of a probe droid.
Now I'm trying to remember. I don't know if they have the look for the GT droids. I
I'm
think
not
GT
sure.
droids are just astromechs. Yeah, they're just
Mm,
astromechs. GT droids are astromechs. They're like, they're very simplistic astromechs.
oh yeah, this is like Alpha Phase R2D2.
Yeah. Shoot, use a T series for crying out loud. You get better use out of a T series than you would a freaking GT.
Yeah.
So around 383 BBY, the Great Hyperspace Rush occurred due to the popularity of hyperspace prospecting at this time, due to the largely unexplored nature of the Outer Rim. During the rush, explorers risked their lives in dangerous, uncharted areas in the Outer Rim as they raced the map to new hyperspace routes. Two prominent families, the Senteca clan and the Graf family, rose to prominence due to their hyperspace prospecting endeavors and successes.
Now, hyperspace prospecting. This is stupid, but essentially, if you could find a stable route in hyperspace, you can patent it on Coruscant
Yep.
and charge people to use it.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Suez Canal or the Panama Canal, but not artificial in a
Yeah.
sense. It's like a
Yeah.
natural path you can find, but you can still charge people an arm and a leg.
It's interesting.
And what's
Now,
fun?
what's really funny is you might know some character names in this next thing I'm about to read. So, however, communications was unreliable during this time. The Galactic Frontier suffered especially as the region has few organized communication networks. The unknown of the frontier and greater spawn many tall tales of mysterious planets and monstrous creatures. Piracy was also abundant during the time due to the limited reach of the Republic, and many pirates roamed the frontier. One of the most famous was the pirate queen Maz Kanata, who hosted many other notorious pirates and scoundrels at her castle on planet Tonaka, or Takadana. Sorry, Takadana, as well as her crew. Stories of her in the pirates of Takadana Castle were largely spread by renowned prospector Dexter Jester.
Who was the owner of the diner that Obi-Wan visited.
Yeah.
So I just like to point this out.
Characters that are well over 500. Well, so Maz is well old. Like, we don't know her race's like lifespan, but like she's probably almost as old as Yoda, if not more. It's crazy on like she's
maybe.
very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Because she's alive during the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, but I would like to point out that if you're not a human species, you can expect a lifespan of over 100 years at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Most non-human species in the galaxy, I would say probably minimum at least 200 years.
Holy cow!
What? Do we
Maz
have
Kanata's born 973 BBY.
Oh shit, she's older than Yoda. So she is over 1,000. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Does it say where we know her age from? You can find that.
It's on the Wikipedia.
Oh my god. And she's a canonical character for everybody listening, by the way. She's not in Legends. She was made for the sequel trilogy, and they expanded her stuff well in advance. Yeah, not born 973. Oh my god.
Okay, it's official. It sucks to be human.
It sucks to be human, yep. Born over a millennia before the conflict between the First Order and 973. Where do they... I'm curious where we find her age.
I don't know.
Let's see. It would either be in the comics, I would imagine.
Source database Star Wars does some magazine,
Wow.
either Spanish or French,
Oh, well, regardless, we have her canonical age. It's
or
well
maybe
over a
it's German.
thousand. So, and she's
Yeah,
still
it's a
living, by the
German
way.
magazine.
She's still living in the sequel trilogy. That's insane. I
Okay,
mean,
back
Wookiees
back.
can live for a very long time too, so there's that.
Yeah,
All right,
Jesus.
moving on. So, going now with the Jedi Order specifically. So, the Jedi Order was at its height during the High Republic era, and in a golden age during which it was incredibly open, diverse, and accepting. They were a distinctly separate entity from the Galactic Republic, but still helped it work alongside it while continuing their central, constant fight for peace. Their influence spanned the galaxy as they had many outposts through it, which they do. They have a lot during the High Republic era.
Yeah, they specifically have outposts near um high populated centers where they can help people or get messages out or be able to go to some close by settlement to help out if they need it.
Yeah. So in the 382 BBY, a Jedi named Barash Silavan started what became known as the Barash Vow, in which the Jedi were allowed to become isolated hermits that spent all their time trying to listen to and reconnect with the Force. The Jedi Order also allowed Jedi to become way seekers. That's what it meant, not pathfinders, way
Yeah.
seekers. During this time, which they were Jedi that did not follow the Jedi Council and only nomadically follow the will of the Force. Which, yes, this is essentially like what Qui Gon did.
Yeah. And
He did
this is
not care for the
also,
Council and he listened to the Force.
and technically, I think this is the closest we'll get to Jedi Sentinels, by the way.
Are you talking about
From
like
the
the
old,
class from like
yeah, like
KOTOR 1 and
Guardian,
2?
Counselor, and Sentinels. I think this is the closest to
Yeah,
Sentinels we'll get.
yeah,
Because Sentinels would actually leave the temple, go out into the galaxy, and actually do stuff in the galaxy compared to counselors and guardians who got
right.
assigned missions. They just went out on their own.
I think it's raining where I'm at.
I wish it would rain near me.
Yeah, it's raining. Lovely. All right. In the same year, as Pathfinder teams are still being sent on missions by the co-counselors, the Path of the Open Hand, an extremist cult that believed that no one should be allowed to use the Force because it had devastating effects on the galaxy, gained prominence. They utilized the Araman Igrano War to recruit and expand their influence, deliberately stroking the flames of the war.
So the path of the
Yeah.
open hand. I mean, they're peaceful mostly, but it's their views of, if you use the force to help somebody here, the force is going to kill somebody somewhere else.
Yeah, which
It's like
clearly
a
is
give and
not the
take to them.
case because the Force is life, period.
Yeah.
The Force is life. So they're already flawed. So based on Donna, the path expanded during its flagship, the Gaze Electric, which is prominent in the High Republic era,
Oh
led
yeah.
by the woman named the Mother. She came into possession of a living weapon known as a Nameless that could be used against Force sensitives, calling the creature the Leveler, thanks to the hyperspace prospector Radika's Sunshine Dobbs. The path came into extreme conflict with the Jedi Order on both the Holy Moon Jeddah and Donna at the same time. Yeah, these things are
Yeah.
devastating. These are not fun.
No. And
They essentially turned a Force user into a husk.
yeah,
They
very much
drain
a
all life
ashen.
out of it. Ashen
Yeah,
gray, and once you touch
think
it, they turn to dust.
yeah, think Pompeii people, who are caught in the
Yeah.
ash, except very much more delicate and
Yes.
just a little touch and all of a sudden pile of ash.
Yep. So Jeddah was seen as a beacon of balance, cooperation, and light during the High Republic era. It was the home to many different Force sects that largely coexisted peacefully. By 382 BBY, a conflagration of the Force had been newly established on Jeddah that was intended to create more cooperation from different sects. It was compromised of representatives from many different groups who made decisions that would affect all of them and the Force. And you might know Jeddah specifically if you play Star Wars Jedi Survivor because you go to Jeddah.
Or you watched Rogue One.
Or you watched Rogue One where it gets glassed. That's fun.
Oh yeah. Actually, in Rogue One, the blind guy and the guy with the backpack and the assault weapon,
Baze?
yeah, they're Guardians of the Force, which was a sect of Force users.
Of this conclave too.
Yeah, and they're still there by the
Mhm.
time of the Empire.
Which is pretty cool. So, however, they were attempted to co-opt the Season of the Light and turn it into the Festival of Balance. They accidentally increased tensions and lost support. While tensions were rising, the planets Aram and Aronro caused Jeddah to be the location where they would sign the peace treaty due to reputation of peace and unity. However, at the same time, the Path of the Open Hand petitioned the Constellation to let become members and outlaw any usage of the Force due to their beliefs, which
Yeah.
that becomes an issue.
Yeah. Path of the Open Hand. It's just how dare you not view our? It's just like a modern day issues. It really is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring that in here, but it really is.
Which we don't talk about, real life stuff typically on any of the shows that I host. Try not to, because this is a gateway to get away from all that. But the thing with Star Wars, it's heavily based on our own
what
lives
was going on
and
at
what's
the
going
time.
on during the time. And that's how they make the stories and everything, which, you do that with all storytelling.
Oh yeah.
All storytelling is somewhere based in realism. So, after both requests were rejected by the Herald, one of the Path's leaders, incensed an already tense sects and civilians into a riot. So, yeah, riots happen. The riot eventually spread to the locations of the peace treaty that was being signed, running the ceremony and starting conflict between the two planets. All this fighting erupted into what became known as the Battle of Jeddah. And during the battle, the massive statue of the Jedi outside the Holy City, called the Final Protector, fell.
And you actually see that statue again in Rogue One.
Yeah,
just as a quick flyover,
destroyed and everything, which is cool to see the connections back to stuff that came out decades ago, or a decade ago, since the Rogue One, because that was in the 2010s. But it's really cool with them going back to stuff like this, as well as this story specifically, the Battle of Jeddah, was an audiobook only story. You can get a print copy of the book, but it's just literally the script. That's it. It's not like an actual novel, because this is every character is voiced by a different person. It has the sound effects and everything. It's really good.
Well, I think
really heavy. Listen to that.
I think there was one or two. There was a comic book of this, I believe, and there might have been one or two books on different perspectives of the battle as well.
Yeah, the battle was in other stuff, but the majority of the content was that audiobook.
Yeah.
So the Path collected many more nameless from their homeworld, Planet X. Still, one member of the Path, Bokana Kos, experienced a force vision of the Underdwellers while on the world and realized they were playing into the creature's hopes, foretelling that they would spread as a blight upon the galaxy that would destroy the Force itself. Ignoring Kos's warning, the Path team escaped with the eggs, despite being Kos identified as the Protector, trying to stop their escape. That's fun. Of course, it took one bad decision to set upon a blight upon the galaxy.
This must have been one of the kids' books or a comic, because I don't remember.
Yeah, I believe it would have to be. Let's see, Bokana Kos.
High Republic Path of Vengeance.
Appearance. Let's see, Battle of Jeddah, Path of Vengeance audiobook. Oh, first identified as Bokana Kos, and then is in one of the comics, and he's also they're also in Trials of the Jedi. So, yeah. So the Path and the Jedi would fight the final battle on Dalna with the Night of Sorrow. However, Mardaro survived and killed the Mother with the Leveler, focusing her efforts on freeing the Force by finding the Nihil. which is
founding the Nihil.
founding the Nihil, yeah, which is also going to be very important later. As the path was dissolved in the wake of the Night of Sorrow, its members split into often various dissented groups, such as the Elders of the Path and the Nihil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planet X.
The- yeah, Miranda Rowe is like, I want to say the
Marta. It's
grandmother.
Marta. Marta Rowe.
Marta. She is like the grandmother, I think, or
Of
great
Marcion.
grandmother of the Marcion Rowe.
Who's the main antagonist through phases 1 and 3. Because this is all in phase 2. All the stuff we were talking about is phase 2. Which is a prequel to phase 1. Because they did the whole like, oh, phase 1 is the original, phase 2 is the prequel, phase 3 is the sequel. Kind of like they did that type of
yeah,
foretelling like how the trilogies work today. So it's fun, metaphors. So, with the armies having joined together and help with the Jedi and fight against the Path, the peoples of Aram and Arano shifted into a Cold War. The Jedi,
I disagree with that.
Aslan Rel, was driven mad with fear with his encounter with a nameless Undana and wrote about the creature in a journal, which he left in possession of his friend and fellow Jedi Arkoff before leaving the Order. Arkoff left the journal under the guard of his droid ZZ-10 on the planet of Banshee. By 3:30 BBY, the age of exploration reached its end.
I'm guessing that's because they found the limits of the galaxy by that point, hopefully. But
yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and I don't think that the Imrim and Arano shifted into a Cold War. I think they actually finally did just kind of stop because they
just stopped because there's more other crap going on that was way more important than what they were dealing with.
and they were fighting for such a long time. It's like, you know what? We're kind of done. We don't want to fight no more. And the heirs of both planets actually married each other.
Yeah, so there was eventually peace.
Yeah.
Because they wed. So, all right. Well, let's take a quick mid-break, thank our patrons, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome to the middle show. We're talking about Ethical Myth Podcast. It has nothing to do with the lore of Star Wars. Here, we want to thank all our amazing patrons. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And if you too want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/holocronhistories, where you can get ad-free episodes or even join us once a month on the show itself. You can also leave us ratings, reviews on Apple and Spotify. Leave 5-star review on Apple with some words or a nice Spotify comment. Read it out next time on the show, which we do have one on our Cold War episode from Noah M. Thanks for the shout out, guys. As always, a great podcast. Well, thank you. And Neo commented on our Galen Merrick episode for Starkiller. I think this might be part 1. It might be part 2. I can't remember. I played Force Unleashed so much on my PSP back then, and when I got it on my 360, I played it religiously often. But when they announced the second one, I was skeptic. When I finally played it, I was disappointed with the 3-hour campaign, and I cheered when I saw the actor on Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, because Sam Witwer was on really cool things.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of different things.
He's also in NCIS.
Voice of Maul.
He's the voice of Maul, yeah. Not Maul live action, but the voice of Maul, yes. And he was in an episode of NCIS in season 1, which is really cool.
He was a killer, wasn't he?
No, he was a Navy lieutenant, I think. Or officer. He was an officer or a lieutenant in the Navy, and he just like kind of like fraud some documents. That was it.
Yeah.
He wasn't a killer. And that'd be kind of that would be kind of funny if he was a killer, though. Not gonna lie, but he did kind of help the killer, but not meaning to. So yeah, that was funny. Anyway, you can also find us on a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, as well as my own Discord server, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show and all the shows that we host, which are the Dragon Ball Lorecast, the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Gundam Lorecast, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. News-wise, There's not really any Star Wars news at the moment, so
Not really, unfortunately.
Summer's Game Fest is coming up here in 2 weeks, so we hopefully might have news then. So we'll see.
Maybe.
But with that, let's get back into more of the High Republic.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel, maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, zero tears.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
All right. Now we are to a United Republic. So as the High Republic era went on, the core worlds in the colonies overpopulated. Many poor civilians moved to the dangerous Outer Rim territories where the Galactic Republic hoped to expand under the leadership of Supreme Chancellor Lina So. And due to her projects she called the Great Works, the Republic supported the dreams of its citizens, even spreading the slogan that every citizen represented the government.
Yeah. Fun fact, it was Andor. There was a scene at the hospital where they were going to a hospital, and if you translate the hospital name, it was like the Lena So Hospital.
Yeah, from Airbus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, fun fact, if you go to Galaxy's Edge, you can now get embroidered Arabesh on shirts and stuff you buy at Disney.
Ooh.
You have to go to the Droid Depot, but they will embroider, and they have a machine to do embroidering, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, although the government was not perfect, because it's not, it was supported by the various species that lived under its rule. When there was conflict or another type of crisis, one of the earliest of the Great Works, the Salvation-class Republic medical frigate, Panacea, was deployed to provide aid. That's nice.
Yeah.
During this time, the galaxy was not yet settled, as it was the time of the Galactic Civil War, as areas like the Outer Rim were dangerous and difficult to navigate. In response, an enormous space station called the Starlight Beacon, one of Chancellor Show's great works, was constructed at a great effort in expense and placed in the center of the Dark Zones. The station would send out a signal that acted as a beacon, helping travelers find their way.
Yeah, and Starlight Beacon was essentially like, I want to say, a good Death Star, as it were. As stupid as that sounds.
Yeah,
it was the antithesis of a Death Star. It was a starport. It had Jedi in there. It was a mobile station with communication networks, trade, and all that. It wasn't a military platform.
It was a platform that could actually be useful, not as a weapon.
Yeah.
Because that's all the Death Star was, just a giant weapon. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So during this time, during this era, the Galactic Society of Creature Enthusiasts was founded by a group of scientists and adventurers that were interested in researching the cataloging the myriad of new species that were discovered on the Republic's frontier worlds. The group started in a small diner meetings and a monthly newsletter. Over the centuries, the group expanded to be one of the largest supporters of wildlife preservation and education.
Okay, why is this?
Yeah, it's just something that happens in the New Republic era. The group also produced a large variety of educational programming on the HoloNet. The society instructed Servo Droids Incorporated to build safari droids for assignments in dangerous environments. These droids were programmed to autonomously document and interact with wild creatures and report back to the society.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to learn more about Rancors. So now a little bit of crisis within the piece. So the era
A
piece would,
little.
yeah, the end of the era of the piece would end with the arrival of the threat of the Nihil. Yay! Enemies of peace. The Marauders became a growing problem in the Outer Rim, carrying out brutal acts, such as the attack on Tanalar, a hidden world recently discovered by the Jedi, who intended to use the planet as a bastion to repel this threat. Which, if you might know this name, is from Jedi Survivor. Yes, they connected the High Republic to that game
Yeah.
to make it prominent.
Yeah, they took apparently one of the best Jedi of the time into the bad guy of Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, and showing bleeding the crystal doesn't take much. Just saying.
His crystal wasn't red though; it was orange, so it wasn't a true
It was a
bleed.
red. It was a red.
Was it?
Yes, it was a red. It has a different tint, but it's still red. He still bled it. To change a color, you have to bleed it, because they kyber crystals don't change their colors willy nilly. You have to bleed them. That's what he did. It's not up for debate. That's what he did. So in a critical transportation disaster known as the Great Hyperspace Disaster, which is, oh boy, also occurred during the High Republic era, initiated after the freighter Legacy Run comes apart in hyperspace, causing large pieces of debris to be shot out of the hyperspace at near light speed, and many starships across the galaxy to be suddenly kicked out of hyperspace. The debris primarily threatened the Hetzel system, which was a major provider of foodstuff in the Outer Rim, and the lives of billions of people who lived there. Many Jedi largely aboard the starship
Atriox. Atriox.
Arrived to help save lives.
Now,
this was bad. This was real bad.
The Legacy Run didn't fall apart in hyperspace. It was rammed into.
It was rammed into. So you know the hold for anybody who, if you want to know, there's reference from if you watched Last Jedi. Don't recommend it, but if you watched it, the holdo maneuver where you take a ship and use the hyperspace drive to run through a ship. This is what this is, but both ships are in hyperspace. So this is even worse, because then all these debris are coming out of hyperspace at random points. Completely random points. It's not all at once, which is bad. And there are people on these things, by the way, which is even worse. So Avar Kriss, who was a pre-eminent Jedi Master from the period, became known as the hero of Hetzel in her efforts for leading a group of Jedi rescue civilians during the hyperspace disaster. Kriss prevented a giant tank of liquid Libania from colliding with the Hetzel system's largest star by using her unique ability to create a network with the Force to connect Jedi across the system and the galaxy to help move the tank with the Force. By channeling the tank's trajectory, they prevented the destruction of the entire system and the collision that would have caused.
Yeah, I mean,
essentially, it's this canon's version of battle meditation.
Yeah, but it really did reach out across the galaxy. Kind of finding that hard to believe, but she even felt Yoda helping.
Yeah,
push it. It was just like, really, how did they do this, and where did this ability go? You know?
I would assume it's going to be very much like battle meditation, where it's very extremely rare, and it only comes up every couple 100 years or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
That's my thinking around it, because that's how Basila was. Like, her battle meditation was extremely rare. Like, that's the whole point of her being a focal point in KOTOR 1 with a lot of, like, strategies and war councils was her battle meditation.
Yeah. But I also like the point on KOTOR 2, your character also has it as well.
Yeah, but that's a whole mechanic thing. It was also not BioWare. It was Obsidian that did that, so whatever. So, however, the Great Disaster would lead to the Emergences, which were a series of disasters in which fragments of the wreckage of the Legacy Run continue to emerge out of hyperspace across the Outer Rim territories, colliding with several planets and other astronomical objects, and killing billions. The danger of the Emergences forced Supreme Chancellor Lina So to close off several regions of the Outer Rim from hyperspace travel. Yeah, this is bad.
Which plays right into the Nihil's plan of taking over the Outer Rim, essentially.
Yeah, which we'll get to in part 2, essentially. So the Marauder group, known as the Nihil, were soon discovered to be responsible for the tragedy, using their powerful path engines, which allowed them to travel through hyperspace in unorthodox and inexplicable ways. One of their storm ships ended up in the Legacy Run's path in hyperspace and had been orchestrated by Marta's descendant, the Eye of the Nihil, Marchion Ro. The communication of Ro's family's plot for revenge against the Jedi and the Republic. Ro had his personal family history with the Jedi and thus wanted to destroy them. He also hated the Republic, believing it did not offer true freedom, which was a common sentiment among the Nihil. Deep down, Ro fought only for himself, believing no government had the right to command him. Because he's a fucking insane psychopath.
Even at the height of the Nihil's power, he really didn't do anything to organize the Nihil, despite other people below him. It's like, you gotta organize us. You gotta organize. We can become a government. We can become a powerhouse.
He's like, no, I don't want that.
I want the galaxy to burn.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. So being able to know when the next emergencies would appear, several groups of the Nihil attempted to extort planets and knew would be hit by offering to stop the debris in exchange for money. Marchion Ro and the Nihil also staged a raid on the planet Elphoria, kidnapping the Blythe family in order to lure the Jedi stationed on the planet to the planet's outpost in order to capture at least one of them. Ro successfully captured Jedi Master Loden Greatstorm through the other Jedi, including the Padawan Bel Zettifar, believing him to be dead.
And
by the way, Loden Greatstorm is an amazing character. Bel Zettifar is also a really good character.
Yeah, and you actually see both of them
in this series.
You actually see both of them in Star Wars Young Jedi.
Oh, the Jedi Adventures, which takes place during the High Republic.
Just before the High Republic book series.
Yeah, but it's during the High Republic era. I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then, in response to the disaster, the Republic and the Jedi worked together to confront the Nihil at the Cure Nebula, making it the first time the Jedi had performed a military action in generations. Joined by forces from the planet of Aradadu in the Republic, and the Jedi defeated the Nihil in what would be known as the Battle of Cure. However, Marchion Ro had secretly only sent a single Tempest, led by Cassavla Maliko, to the nebula in order to convince the Jedi that the Nihil had been defeated, even though it was only a third of his forces. After this battle, the hyperspace lanes in the Outer Rim were reopened, and the dedication of Starlight Beacon then occurred, and then the station was open to the galaxy.
Yeah, I want to say this is like only halfway through Phase 1, by the way.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, because
the Phase 1 ends
with the falling, right? Spoilers. Spoiler alert. Starlight Beacon falls.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't exist in anything.
On air value, by the way.
Yeah. So So this is this is halfway through because Starlight opened up. Yeah, halfway through the Phase 1.
Yeah.
So that is part 1. So there you go. That is part 1 of the High Republic. Stay tuned for part 2.
Yep.
Do you have any final thoughts or anything on part 1?
My only regret is that they did it in Phase 2 should have been Phase 1 because...
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
Because a lot of the Phase 2 characters don't matter in Phase 1 or 3.
Nope.
And
because they're like long dead by that time.
Yeah, because
it's Phase so far 1...
Phase 1 characters like, okay, I know all these people. You get to Phase 2, you got to learn all these new people. They don't
Mm-hmm.
matter by the time you get to Phase 3. And when you start Phase 3, it's like, who are all these people again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So start with phase 2, then do phase 1. And you can look up an entire like book order reading list of everything. So pretty
Yeah.
easy to Google everything. There's like 30 books in the High Republic era though, so be prepared for that. But really good read, really cool stuff. Especially actually like, there's a lot of like references to Old Republic. There's a lot of like eventually like, oh, that's really cool because that's why there's things that happen in the High Republic that explains some things in the prequel trilogy, which is pretty cool. Like you find out in the High Republic era, oh hey, the Jedi Temple in Coruscant is built atop of a Sith shrine
Yeah.
that emanates dark side energies, by the way. So the Jedi has to go down to the lower depths to purify and make sure it gets held back every so often.
Oh, you know what we didn't mention in part 1?
Hmm.
The plant creatures.
The Nameless? Or
No,
you're
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
Dringir?
Dringir.
Oh, that's going to be in part 2.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because they don't come up until like the latter half of phase 1. It's midway to latter half.
Yeah.
It's more midway. It's
Okay.
midway. Because they're only in one book in phase 1, and then they pop up freaking all over the place after that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stay tuned. More cool stuff in phase 2. Or part 2. So, fun things. All right. With that being said, everybody, thank you again for listening to Holocron Histories, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share your thoughts, experiences, and love for the Star Wars lore. And don't forget, for the Republic!